I want to know everybody that this white man don't want us to know. I want to know more and more about Lucifer. Not from what they're telling you. Because ignorance is a food source. Most people, or most entities that you call evil, are actually acting upon self-preservation and are based on survival imperatives that were cultivated some billions of eons ago. We get trapped by them through our lack of instinctive self-awareness that the mind and the spirit inherits through a continual refinement of the corporeal envelope. Let me then say that again so that you'd understand it. We get trapped by these entities who feed from our ignorance, who feed from us, through our own lack of instinctive self-awareness. Our own lack of instinctive self-awareness that the mind and the spirit is supposed to inherit through a continual refinement of the corporeal envelope. So the more you live, the more you should know. The longer you live, the more you're supposed to know. You ain't supposed to be stupid at 50. And Lord knows that's when you get real dumb. You get real scared and stupid and go running to church. You start running to look for Jesus after you get that first pain in your back. Oh, it's coming close to the end. Heart attack and motherfuckers just catch Jesus and say, Lord, yeah, he came to Jesus. Because that's the only out they're going to give you, is to come to Jesus. We become trapped by the envelope through the chromosomes, which contain the DNA and the genes. Now here's where we're going to start getting heavy. The chromosome is a DNA containing linear body of the cell nuclei, responsible for the determination and transmission of hereditary characteristics. See, that's the clinical definition. And that's what they want you to think that's all it is. Let me repeat that. The chromosome is the DNA containing linear body, linear means straight, of the cell nuclei responsible for the determination and transmission of hereditary characteristics. Now, the chromosome then must have all of the information of the ancestors locked into it. This is why this devil, this geneticist, who is the new Gnostic, the geneticist is the new Gnostic. He now has the ability to get into the library of your experience and start picking out what he wants of the information and start playing inside of who you are. Not who you want to be or who you are, so that he will make you who he wants you to be. Now let's drop about a gene. A gene is a functional hereditary unit. It is a functional hereditary unit that occupies a fixed location on the chromosome. It occupies, carefully listen now, a fixed location on the chromosome. It has a specific influence on phenotype or a group and is capable of mutation. Now you'll understand why the gene can change and what that has to do with you and mind control. Now, listen very carefully. There is something around the sun called the chromosphere. The chromosphere. Now, the chromosphere of the sun is made up of primarily hydrogen. Check the connection now. It is several thousand miles in depth and lies separate and above the photosphere, which it surrounds. Okay? The chromatosphere surrounds the photosphere and is distinct and separate from the corona, or the crown of thorns. Listen carefully. The DNA, I'm putting all the little definitions in before we get to it. The DNA is a polymer, or something of a high molecular weight. That's what a polymer means. Something that has a high density and molecular weight with millions of repeated linked units. The DNA is a polymer of the chromosome consisting of two long chains of alternating phosphate and deoxyribose units. twisted into a double helix and joined by hydrogen bonds between the complementary bases, adenine and thymine, or cytosine and guanine. Now let me go back to what I'm saying and how it connects with the chromosphere of the sun. Go back to the top. The chromosphere of the sun is made up of primarily hydrogen. This is why I needed the blackboard. The chromosphere is made up primarily of hydrogen. All right? It is several thousand miles thick and lies separate and above the photosphere. Photo meaning the light sphere, the part that you can see, which it surrounds. Now the DNA has a alternating phosphate and deoxyribose units, linear, that is twisted into a double helix and joined together by hydrogen. Now, I said that to say that the so-called chromatosphere or chromosphere of the sun and the chromosomes of the cell, are you checking me? The chromosome of the cells are your inner sun. Remember, the cells are your internal little suns. You have whole solar systems that are cells. The chromosome and the chromosphere are together and are synergistically linked through the activity of the DNA. So the sun and you are intermittently connected through the DNA. Your chromosomes and the chromosphere, hydrogen bonds in the chromosomes, hydrogen is, as the majority, thousands of miles thick around the sun, there is a connection. You are being beamed information through the hydrogen, the chromosphere of the sun is connecting to the hydrogen coupling bonds in your DNA and giving it instructions to change. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be giving you instructions to grow a third helix at this present time. But because you are in light code lockdown and because they are polluting the atmosphere so that they filter out the instructions from the chromosphere to your chromosomes, you're the one that's getting all, you might as well be back knuckle dragging at an 8. You are being regressed purposefully to keep you as a food source for light. The DNA represents a fixed projection of light as consciousness. The DNA represents a fixed projection of light as consciousness. As light travels through the ever-increasing density of matter, it begins to spiral in relationship to the elements that it gathers. Let me say that again. As light travels through the ever-increasing density of matter, it begins to spiral. It doesn't go into a straight line. It spirals. That's why when you look at the electrical line inside of here, it's twisted. Because all things, once it gets to this level, light travels, everything travels, atomics, everything travels in spirals. All energy travels in spirals. So, what constitutes your DNA is the coagulation of these elementals, these primordial archetypal elementals that are now coalescing around the design of the intelligent mind to become you, man. So the DNA is essentially just following the instructions of universal mind to condense you into man, to God as man. Now all of this is coming to be because now you're going to see what they have to do in order to interrupt and mess with who you are. Because the old forms of mind control don't work too tough no more. Evidence. Y'all ain't sucking on a neck bone. The denser the elements themselves fix light through the densification of atoms. The elements fix light. Okay? They fix light through the densification of atoms who behave according to how many elementals and atoms join together. So the more compact, the more constricted these atoms and these elements work together, the more density of light you have. And the more awareness you can actually encompass, and the more manipulation of these atoms you can do through your mind. Because that's the secret. Manipulating structure, manipulating the DNA helix, manipulating the hydrogen connection, so that you now begin to give instructions based upon your awareness, not through what they're telling you. Higher awareness, it must grow now. You must get deep into metaphysics at this time to save your life. This is not just about you saying, well, I'll study in school and we'll take this, and I may even take a little something of metaphysics. No, bullshit. You gotta have to put everything aside and study metaphysics now, because that's how they're coming at you. They're coming at you through the metaphysical tip. The denser or more compact the atoms, the greater the concentration of light. If you manipulate the atmosphere or ionosphere, ion is the name of John. That's why the book of John has nothing to do with no people. The book of John, if you notice, the four gospels, the first three are called the synoptic gospels, which mean they're just synapse, they're just compilation, real put together. Most of them are all put together, they're pretty much the same. But the last one of John don't seem to start off like anything else. All right? John is not actually a person. It was based upon ionosphere, ion being a dynamic of radiation, a dynamic of light. So John, if you look at the word J, there was no J, it was I-O-N. John, is the book of John, is telling you in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And if you understood what the Word was and how they're using the Word to manipulate your DNA, the Word through frequencies, because remember, the Word is a frequency, so they're playing with the Word so that your words come out the way they want you to say it. They come out the way they want you to think it. The manipulation of the Word through frequencies. The Word is a frequency. When I'm talking to you on a band based upon frequency transference. From here to here, to here, to there. It's about bouncing energies back and forth through sound frequencies. Well, they've learned to take the Word and to use it for evil, to bypass your ability to filter the Word into consciousness and put in this instructions to make you still think that you're an animal, to keep you on the lower fields of awareness. If you manipulate the atmosphere or the ionosphere of our planet, you interface with the hydrogen source or higher nutritional base of light in the DNA. Hallelujah. I don't know where I was when I said that. Let me repeat it. If you repeat, somebody bring me back down. I need to take a sip. Woo. You know, as I tell you, boy, you want a high? You really want a high? Get into metaphysics. Because once you start coming into self-realization, you start losing, things start moving and turning. And let me put that back to you again. If you manipulate the atmosphere or the ionosphere of our planet, you interfere with the hydrogen source or the higher nutritional base of light for the DNA. The hydrogen anchors, and I use that word, anchors, between the complementary bases that project towards the axis of the helix. Now, the word helix comes from the word helio, which means hello. These things aren't named by accident. Now, the hydrogen anchors between the complementary bases. Now, this is the DNA. Just imagine the DNA and these little ladder, Jacob's ladder, connecting it all the way through. Okay? The hydrogen anchors, and I use the word hydrogen as an anchor because it anchors the elements that have coalesced into the helix. Hydrogen anchors those elements. All right? Between the complementary bases that project towards the axis of the helix. Now, helix is from the word helio, which is Greek for the sun. From one of the strands where it is bonded, in sequence becomes distorted and different in its ability to hold the light programming. Let me repeat that for you. Don't worry. We'll try our best to really simplify it for us to get it. The hydrogen anchors between the complementary bases that project towards the axis of the helix from one of the strands where it is bonded together in a sequence become distorted and deficient in its ability to hold the light programming. When they screw with the ionosphere, and that's what the heart technology is all about. When they screw with the ionosphere, they mess up, they distort, and they cause disturbances in how the light frequency, hydrogen frequencies come to this planet. And let me tell you something. Remember a long time ago I spoke about the fact that one of the great wars that took place on this planet caused the hydrogen canopy that was around our planet to fall, and it fell. Remember I spoke about that? And it fell 40 days and 40 nights. And what do you call that? Flood? Right. Well, the ionosphere collapsed. That particular hydrogen atmosphere that we had around our world collapsed. That atmosphere used to be in synchronicity with the sun's atmosphere. So we had an Edenic kind of energy here, giving us information that was piped along the line of star frequencies. Remember, the starlight you see are nothing but lattices or relay stations for light. And the more light is relayed, the more differentiated it becomes, the more specialized it becomes. So the core of our universe, the core of our galaxy, gives off a specific consciousness intent. Follow me now. It gives off a specific consciousness intent of higher universal mind. That intent becomes synthesized as creation. That creation through suns, and I told you in the last time, a sun is the youngest form of life in the cosmos. And that sun, as it begins to peek through, it then becomes a relay station of consciousness throughout the whole galaxy. And it relays light from the core, what the Mayans called the Hunab Ku. The Hunab Ku holds the instructions for your consciousness time zone. So wherever your zip code, your consciousness zip code is, you have a specific consciousness revelation that you have to achieve. All of this is based upon a holographic dynamic, and you are in a gigantic holograph of the universal mind. It is not one-dimensional, and I know you are trying to look at this thing as it is omnidimensional. This is how I'm trying to speak to you. So your eyes, like they said in the movie, why is my eyes hurting so much? You say you've never seen before. So why is my head hurting? Why is my back of my back? What is he talking about? I am taking you out of your linear, your blinders, and having you see three-dimensionally now who you are. You are not in a universe that where you look out in the sky, that's the direction. You are in an omniverse, and this is a holographic design of the mind, of the universal mind. And you are participating in a hologram. And where you are positioned on that hologram, you are picking up specific points of light and information beamed to you based upon your position in the hologram. The hologram is being changed right now. That's why there's no mothership coming. This is the ship that will be changed to a whole other environment where you will be picking up whole other forms of light, whole other lattices, whole other directionals coming at you all at once. Y'all want me to stop for a minute and just can it digest? No, everything's cool, right? We can still go. Okay now, because I'm pacing. You know how you get one guy out there to pace and get them exhausted, and then you run him over, right? Okay. Now, when you distort the hydrogen essence of the suns and its ability to give you the helium, all the different forms of elements, because remember, all of the elements that's in your body, you don't need to be getting from food. The sun creates the elements based upon what you breathe. So it's necessary to pollute the atmosphere so that the solar radiation that creates the nutrients, what do you call it, the minerals. The sun creates minerals. So what the best way to do it for you to stop getting minerals through the breath, because the breath is the breath of life. You are the breath of life. You're not the spinach of life. You're not the Mickey D's of life. You are the breath of life. So the breath is supposed to give you everything that you need. But when you distort the atmosphere, when you distort the environment, you cannot be nurtured through your primary source anymore. And then this now distills the atmosphere into the blood. This is the secret of Jesus changing the water to wine at the marriage of Cana. If you look at the word Cana, it means place of the reeds. If you look inside your lungs, it's nothing but a constitution of reeds. That's what your bronchioles are. The marriage of Cana is taking in the solar radiation as food, condensing it as the waters into the wine that is your blood. You see, oh, it gets deep. It's deep. I mean, after this, why would you even want to go to school? What are they teaching our children? What are they teaching us in these places? When you have done this, when you have distorted programming, this will interfere or distort the DNA's ability to determine individual hereditary characteristics or be manipulated to create freaks of nature. Now, it has been told that our planet is being terraformed by different types of species who live in these kinds of environments. Now, these kind of environments never existed when we were around. We have adapted. We die sooner than the 1,000 to 2,000 years that we lived. Why is that? Because the atmosphere has been terraformed in order to keep someone else comfortable, in order to feed someone else, in order to sustain someone else. There once was a hydrogen halo surrounding our Earth that fed the higher frequencies of universal mind directly to our DNA pattern. It was a triangular harmonic that connected the sun's hydrogen harmonic and the Earth's hydrogen harmonic to that of the body's hydrogen harmonic. Today, the fallen elders, or as they're called, I call them the elders, the dark elders, and I don't mean the dark elders like us. I'm talking about those who live in the shadows of your awareness, inhabit a great portion of humanity's evolutionary envelope. These entities have walked into you. They have taken you all over. There's some of them, you walk down the street, you can see them right away. They don't look like they're from here. They're walking around with a blank stare. They really look like they are not from this planet. You can pick them up. You know what the clones look like. We told you what they will look like and what they're about. They have this glare. They have this blank stare. They deteriorate very quickly. But you remember that these entities inhabit a great portion of humanity's evolutionary envelope. Better yet, they occupy by intrusion based upon your ignorance of yourself. That's why people who have thoughts that are not their own, sometimes you wake up, you say, damn, why did I think of that? Sometimes you wake up and you start saying, oh, wow, what would it look like if my baby was strangled? Oh, and you say, oh. I know. Have you ever had one of them thoughts that came to you and wondered what you should... Where did I get that thought of murdering and killing and somebody dead and mangled, somebody close and loving me? That's them trying to get in. That ain't you. And it's good that you could recognize it and not get caught up in it, because there are some weak enough to get caught up in it. And they follow it, and then they become part of it. That's why these entities took over Hollywood, because they don't have a way to physicalize themselves. So they live as a component of your dreams. You get pictures of alien. And in that, they live because you give life through your thoughts. All of the elements that go into creating a chemical memory gives you pictures, gives you sounds, give you words, give you experiences, and they live inside of that which you have provided them by the chemistry that is you. So they actually create, you try to find out, where do they get these kind of monsters? Who is the one who's designing these? They are working through those entities that they know are part of Hollywood. And they're there to make sure that they have places to live, because when you go look at the movie and you see this and you're getting terrified, they live best with children, because children have a greater impact. They have a greater impact on the memory chemistry of children. That's why you got to be very careful about what you show your children at a very early age. Because they're like cameras that just snap and keep pictures. You know what it was like when you were scared and you saw a monster and you kept that bad boy with you for how long? They live in that. And I say, oh, get out of here, Reverend Brown. Yeah. Well, you tell me, when you're running from something, you don't know what it is. Like a crop of vegetables, and you can see Matrix with this one, humanity today is cultured like a clam to produce a pearl of energy that is of great value to the fallen elders. Every time you are educated, they have put a sand or stuck a grain of sand somewhere inside of your consciousness. And then it irritates you. And then all of a sudden you make a life for yourself based upon the pearl that your body creates to defend yourself from that sand called education. And you've created a pearl based on your irritation, the fact you got to pay your taxes, your damn rent is due, you get in a fight with your husband, he leaves you, now welfare gets paid, and now it's all one dynamic. And they keep putting that sand in. Keep putting that sand in. Every time you wake up, the sand begins with that inject vaccination. From the vaccination, they give you the bottle. And from the bottle, they put you into these nurseries. From the nursery, they put you in there, terraforming you. Like a crop of vegetables, humanity today is cultured like the clam, or like the oyster, to produce a pearl of energy that is of great value to the fallen elders. Light is the pearl. Today, a vast segment of humanity is waking up out of the sleep. Here's where the problem lies. A vast amount of us are waking up. We don't want to go along with the bullshit anymore. We don't want to listen to all the crap that they're talking about. It don't even seem real anymore. We laugh at it. We talk at the television. I know I do. I hope you all do. I hope you all get up, and when you're looking at the news and you hear some bullshit, that you start saying back, get the fuck out of here. And you look for something and you throw it at the screen. That's healthy. You start yelling and screaming and getting mad. They can't get in there. That's healthy. It's unhealthy when you're sitting there. Look at that. That's the sign of insanity. If you can look at the news and just be quiet and just imbibe that kind of crap. If you can look at television, if you can look at the television, the movies. When I go to movies, I start talking all kind of shit. You look at that shit. You see that? And everybody's right there. What's he talking about? Shut up, I want to see him shoot him up, The fact that you all are awakening is perilous to the fallen elders, in that you are now weeds growing in their gardens. And a weed grows, boy. Weed is strong as a motherfucker. You cannot, it don't be cultivated. Weed, you can't, shit. You try to cultivate all these things that you do in the vegetable. It looks so nice, it looks so pretty. Weed say, damn that, I'm growing right here. And you gotta, oh man, and you gotta kill it, the shit grows back. Quick! Well, you are the weed in their little garden of ignorance. Now, catch up with me. A cosmo-psycho-biospiritual order. Let me say that again. A cosmo-psycho-biospiritual order that was established eons ago is dismantling because the old restraints of brutality and fear no longer work on you, as in the case of early Christianity. A newer, more insidious method of control must now be instituted. An internal control dynamic, an internal brutality and fear dynamic that can be controlled by the push of a button. Now, the button can be a word. The button can be the change in a temperature around you. The button can be something that you see flash before you. The button can also be pushed on a console. Those who do the work for the fallen lords constitute the conscious and the willing, A, and the unconscious and obedient, B. Let me say that again. Those who work for the fallen lords constitute two kinds: the conscious and the willing, A, and the unconscious and the obedient, B. Those we focus on today inhabit and operate through the priesthood. Listen up. Those we focus on here today inhabit and operate through the priesthood of the temple of medical science, the new Gnostics. The geneticist is the new Gnostic. The Elohim of the Bible were geneticists. Genesis, Genesis, Genesis 1, that's chapter 1, verse 26 says, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." We don't know what the fuck they look like. Do they? Do you know what the Elohim look like? No. You don't. Now, here's something deep. Why is the gene so important to the Elohim of today, the new Gnostics? Well, let's look at this. Well, let's look at the word lamp. Lamp of God that taketh away the sins of the world. Let's look at the word lamp, all right? Could you please read the word lamp there and what that means? All of the definitions out loud.
A device that generates light, heat, or burn through a wick for illumination. A star, planet, meteor, or other celestial body. Something that illumines the mind or soul. Leave lamp.
That's it. That's it. Wait a minute. Hold on. Lamp? Star? Lamp? How you get star? How you get lamp illumination? He ain't talked about them that you, where you put a match to it, got a little flame. The wick is your what? A part of your brain. The pineal. The lamp of God that taketh away the sins of the world. When it gets lit up, all illusion disappears. When your pineal is at full-fledged flight, when the lamp of God is lit up through the Kundalini rising, all illusion disappears. You look into the glass darkly. There is no more fucking with your mind. You have the capabilities to raise that lamp, to light it. Now they say here that the lamp is a celestial body, a meteor, a star, a planet. Well, the word lamp means a device that generates. Did he not say generates? Therapeutic radiation. Where did that come from? A lamp. In the West Indies, my grandmother went over, lifted the bad boy. That's a lamp. You go over in the corner, you flick your switch. That's a lamp. No, it's not. We're looking at the words that you're dealing with. Remember, in the beginning was the word. So the beginning of your illusion is based upon the construct of language and how language is used or misused, or how you are ignorant to how a language is used, or how in your awakening you can use language to unlock the doors that keep you in light code lockdown. A star, planet, or meteor. Something that illuminates the mind or the soul. This is a lamp. A lamp. Well, let's look at the lamp a little further and check out the story about a lamp. What was the most famous story about a lamp? Aladdin. All right, so something told me, who's Aladdin? How you spell Aladdin? A-L-L-A, freeze it. Oh, hold on. Hold on, yeah, okay. Ala-ddin. Okay, the word din, if you break down the word din, not jinn, jinn, we know what the jinn is, but the word din means dissonant sound. Okay? We know Allah. All right? But din is a dissonant sound. Now, if Allah is God, this person in the body of Ala-ddin obviously has to be an aspect of God who speaks dissonant notes, who speaks or misinterprets the word. So what does he do in order to find himself, to get his wish? He rubs. Oh, okay. Come on back up here, brother. Need you one more again. So I said, well, let's look at the word rub. Okay, what we got there?
Okay, yeah,
See the word rub. Start from there, but just keep on reading. Rub now. Wait a minute, hold up. What do we do? What does rub mean? Friction. Rub a little with it. Yeah, this is rub, right? That's what you think rub means. Go ahead.
To subject to the action of something that moves back and forth with friction and pressure. To cause to move along a surface with friction and pressure. To irritate, annoy. His laziness was being to rub me. To move along a surface with friction and pressure. To chafe with friction. To cause irritation or annoyance.
Keep going.
Informal. To continue in a given situation, usually with some difficulty.
Hold that. Say that again.
To continue in a given situation, usually with some difficulty.
Go ahead.
To admit rubbing, a blackboard that rubs clean easily. To be transferred by contact or proximity.
Hold on. To be transferred by contact or proximity. Go ahead.
Wish some of her luck with rub off. Wish some of her luck with rub off on me.
Okay.
To harp on an unpleasant matter.
Go ahead.
To obliterate by or as if by rubbing. Slang, to kill, murder, rub up. To refresh one's knowledge of.
Wait! Repeat that.
To refresh one's knowledge of.
Second one.
Improve or increase the keenness application of friction and pressure. To harp on.
Go ahead.
To obliterate.
Okay, go, keep going.
To obliterate by or as if by rubbing.
All
to
right.
kill.
Right.
Murder.
Right.
To refresh one's knowledge of.
Okay, hold on. To refresh one's knowledge of. All right? The next one after that line was?
To improve or increase the keenness of a mental faculty.
Hold that right there. Thank you very much, brother. To improve the keenness of mental faculty? Let's go back. Remember we said Aladdin, Allah, dissonant note coming from the word of God. He now has the lamp of God. He rubs it. What does he do then? He increases what? His keenness? Mental faculties? But remember now, this is a lamp he's rubbing. And we know what lamp is now. The lamp is the sun. The lamp is the star. What is he rubbing? Okay. Now he says the word rub is to continue as a given situation, sometimes with great difficulty, to refresh one's knowledge, to improve or increase the keenness of mental faculty. What comes out after that? Spell? What? A genie? Whoa, wait a minute now. Okay, so now the genie comes out of the lamp, which is the star, and grants him 3 wishes. Now, I know you're saying, well, where the fuck is he going with all of this? You think about how language has within it coded information. Now, who knew what rub meant except to rub? You know, your backside or your face or your hair, or rub a little baby's bottom with some cornstarch or something. Who the hell thought it meant, you know, getting into your consciousness acuity? And what? Rub? To exercise the keenness of mental faculty? I want to rub my brain. I want to rub myself with some words. The genie comes out, which is the gene, which is the code for the body. So Ala-ddin, or the dissonant code, rubs the lamp, which is the light, which is the sun, which is the internal dynamic of light, and then comes out with what? The genie. And the genie gives you 3 wishes. It is said in, what do you call it, in Sanskrit, that you live, you come back 7 times, 3 cycles of 7 times to grant your wish in the flesh. Because all of what you do is based upon what you do in the flesh. Spirit don't do shit. The spirit is just here to accumulate information. The spirit is part of the component that was developed. It was the light that Lucifer took into the darkness. It was the Prometheus fire that was unaware, though self-aware. You see? And all of it is hidden. The geneticists are now in possession of the lamp, or at least have knowledge of how the lamp works, to release the gene, to get the gene-y to do its wishes. The lamp or star within us is in the cell nucleus, which contains the chromosomes or light bearers, the light fixtures, the Lucifer matrix within you. Lucifer is the lamp. Lucifer is the wick, and it is the flame, the morning star, the light bringer, the thing that illuminates the mind and the soul. The gene, listen carefully now, the gene occupies the fixed location on the chromosome and has a specific influence. The geneticist occupies a fixed position. Hear me now. The geneticist occupies a fixed position in the hierarchy of the fallen lords and is now in charge of creating and producing specific influences in today's humanity. Let me go back and get that to you one more time. The gene, as it was said before, occupies a fixed location on the chromosome and has a specific influence. The geneticist, or the new Gnostic, occupies a fixed position in the hierarchy of the fallen elders and is now in charge of creating and producing specific influences in today's humanity. Based on the condition of our planet, it would appear that nothing or no one can be saved. And this is what they are telling you, that without them, you cannot be saved. Without the operation, without gene therapy, without the drugs, without all of this that they're doing, they're terraforming your bloodstream. They're damming it up, just like they would dam any flowing river, so that they could change the dynamic flow of the river and get your hydroelectricity from it. Well, what they're doing is they're damming your bloodstream with all kind of shit. And from that particular dam, they're extracting all kinds of perverted forms of electrical impulses that come out as your behavior. The old order of disease and health, food and nutrition, mind and matter, God and man are either dead or dying. The present human experiment as a species is a dismal failure, according to them. This is what they're telling you. Ye cannot be saved unless ye be born again. And ye are only born again in Jesus Christ. You cannot be protected from all of these germs out here unless you're vaccinated. I'm giving you all of the spiel. You cannot get anywhere in life without an education. Do you hear how they are playing with you and in your head? In reality, man is breaking free. The containment unit or cell or gene is in the process of spiritual mutation, hallelujah, which in turn signals biomolecular freedom from the illusion of the present corporeal agreement. To the fallen elders, this constitutes death in this plane. They cannot allow it. It means that in their garden, the crop of vegetables is turning into an uncontrollable weed. The fallen lords, through the Illuminati geneticists, say, we need a new man. We need a whole new breed of man. Give me a zoom on this. Sister Puma, let me just get this on there first. They got a black man playing Adam and a white woman playing Eve. We need to create a new man. Now, they know that the new man can't come from them. It won't come from them. It can't come from them. And this has nothing to do with racism because I'm getting this information from them. They cannot procreate beyond 2012 at the level, at the velocity, and at the tenacity that the black male and the black female can. Well, they've already started recruiting the black female. Oprah Winfrey is telling you that. Whoopi Goldberg should tell you that. Claire Huxtable should tell you that. And all these other Aunt Jemima Negroes. The name of the movie is The Loss of Sexual Innocence. Wait now, sexual innocence is usually denoted to the female. The innocence now, or remember now, the loss of sexual innocence is that the white woman, obviously, has been living in this paradigm where she has been put on this pedestal where, she is the, quintessential angel of womanhood. This is what she has been given. And she is innocent of any kind of thinking of, having some big black buck just jumping all over her. So how do you lose the innocence? You put it up on screen, watching the backside of this big black buck just thrusting away. We're going to lose this innocence. My eyes! What a crock. And this is what they're spoon-feeding to us, because now they have to terraform your awareness. They have to make you believe it's all right. We need a new man and a new womb man. The building blocks of life, the genes, shall be rearranged in such a way to create a new man for a new age who will function in the right way. The geneticist says, finally, with gene engineering, all possibilities are open for us. We have ways to escape our own physiological lockdown in this paradigm. All we have to do is genetically alter the fact that we don't have the ability to make the melanin. We don't have the ability to protect ourselves from the higher frequencies of light that are going to inevitably be coming to this planet. And it isn't just higher heat, it's higher information. That's why they're going to start getting melanoma. Because the melanoma is burning up the bullshit. It's cleaning house. It's cleaning genetic house.